mean, we have mode, we have median, and we have range. What do these mean and why do we care about them? So let's say I give you a data set. A data set just means a number, like some numbers, okay? So let's say we're looking at the grades people got in an exam, right? So let's say someone got, let's say it's out of 10, someone got a 6, someone else got a 5, someone smart got an 8, someone very smart got a 10 out of 10, someone that didn't study for the test got a 1, someone got a 0, someone else got a 7, and someone else got, we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's say we had 10 students in the class, so we have someone else got a 5, someone got a 3, and someone got a 9. Okay, so these are our numbers. Okay, so we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We have 10 numbers, so we have 10 numbers. Now, me just giving you the numbers like this doesn't really tell me anything about how this class is performed, right? Like, okay, I know some people did really bad and some like 10 and 9 and 8 did really well, but I want some like numbers that can help me quantify what's been happening. So by quantify I mean like I want some actual numbers that tell me, okay, what is really happening in this class? Is the teacher doing well? Is the teacher struggling to teach? What's going on? So now we're going to look at these 4 different things. We're going to start with mode. Okay, so mode just means the most repeated. So you can think of it mo, and you can think of most. So mode and most, so mode is the most repeated number. So in our case, what is the most repeated number? Well, okay, let's look at it. So we have 6 only comes up once. Okay, we have 5 comes up 5 here and a 5 here, so that's 2 times. 8 only comes up once. 10 only comes up once. 1 only comes up once. 0 comes up once. 7 only comes up once. 5 came up 2 times as we saw. 3 only comes up once, and 9 only comes up once. Okay, so we saw 5 was the most repeated number because it came up 2 times when everything else only came up once. So our mode in this case is 5. That means the most common grade was 5. And it makes sense, right? Because 5 was the most common grade. Most people got 5. Even though it was only 2 people, well, everyone else only got like their own separate grade, but 2 people got the exact same grade. So that becomes the mode of the data set. And you can have more than one mode. So let's say I had another number here. I'm not going to add it, but let's say I put a comma here and I added 10, okay? That means the mode would be 5 and 10. So you would have 2 modes in that case. So mode is just the most repeated number. That's very easy. Now let's look at the second easiest thing. That's the range. So what is the range? And in our case, our class is very diverse. We have some people that really studied and some people that didn't study at all. So the range is the highest number, so the highest value, and then you subtract the lowest value. So lowest value. So let's look at it in our case. So we had 10 being the highest value, so we have 10 minus the lowest value was 0. So 10 minus 0, which is equal to 10. That's all ranges. The highest value minus the lowest value. A range is like literally range, like what is the range of the data set, like what is the lowest value, what's the highest value, and what's the difference between them. So that's 10. So in our case, let's say we have a small data set right here, right? So we have 5 6 7. Let's say that's a small data set. What would the range of that be? Well, that would be 7 minus 5, which is equal to 2. If you're wondering about the mode in this case, well, either you could say there is no mode, or you could say 5 6 and 7 are all the modes. It's up to you, however you want to describe it, but I would say there's no mode because they're all the same. Range would be the highest number minus the lowest number, so 7 minus 5, which is 2. So we have mode and range sorted out. Now we're going to look at median. So median is an interesting one. So what does a median mean? And it sounds a lot like medium because that's what it is. A median is literally what is in the medium, right? So let's look at it. Now before we look at the median, what we need to do is we need to arrange this in ascending order. So we're going to arrange in ascending order. If you don't know what that means, it's fine. Ascending just means from the lowest to the highest value. So arrange in ascending order. So now I have to write this data set again, but we're going to start with the lowest value. So we're going to start with 0 here, then 1, then we don't have a 2, so we have 3, we don't have a 4, we have 5, and then we have another 5, we have a 6, we have a 7, we have an 8, we have a 9, and we have a 10. So now this is our values in ascending order. It's good to have it like this, so you can see. And now we're looking for the middle value, so it's going to be somewhere over here, right? So let's look at it. So first of all, we have 10 numbers. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We have 10 numbers. So how you do this is, the traditional method is, you see the smallest number, you see the one on the left side, you cancel it, and then for that you cancel one on the right side. So you do that. Then you go to the second number on the left side, you cancel that, and for that you cancel the second number on the right hand side. Then third number, fourth number, fourth number. And if you cancel the fifth and the sixth number and the fifth number from both the sides, well, in our case, we're not going to be left with anything, right? Because we're going to cancel 5 and 6. So what we do is we actually do 5 plus 6, and since we have two numbers, we just divide by 2. And this is funny because it's going to lead on to the next thing, but what we do in this case is we do 5 plus 6 divided by 2, and we get 5.5. That's all we do, because in our case, over here, if you had 5, 6, and 7, right, this is already arranged in ascending order, so this is easy. So I do cancel 5, and then I cancel 7 as well, and then we'd just be left with 6. So this would be our median. So going back to the other small data set that we created. But in our case, we had 10 numbers, so obviously we couldn't just cancel equal amounts. If you cancel 5, you'd also cancel 6, and we'd be left with nothing over here. So we don't want that. So instead, we do 6 plus 5, or 5 plus 6, and we divide by 2, and we get 5.5. So I'm going to put a star over here. Important thing is, the median does not have to belong, so doesn't have to belong to the data set, belong to the, because we saw, right, that 5.5 is not in the data set. No one actually scored a 5.5, but that is still the median of the data set that we have. That is still the median of the grades that the class got. Even though 5.5 isn't a grade that anyone specifically got, that would still be the median. And now you see what we did over here. When we had 5 and 6, we did 5 plus 6 divided by 2. That is actually calculating the mean. And another word that you might have heard is called the average, but these are actually all averages. So mode is actually a form of an average. So this is an average. Range is not really an average, but mode is an average. Median is an average. This is a type of an average. Mean is also an average, and you could say it's the most common average, or it's the average that we're used to. And I'm even going to underline it because mean is very, very useful, and this is what people usually use. I would say mean is the most useful, then the median, then depending on the case, range, and then mode. But mean is extremely useful. So let's look at it. So how do we do the mean? Well, we already saw it, right? When we have two numbers, we just do those two numbers, we add them up and divide by 2. Well, when we have more than two numbers, we add up all the numbers that we have and divide by the total number, the total amount of numbers that we had. So let's make it simple. So we have 10 numbers. So if you have 10 numbers, that means I'm going to divide by 10. So let me just draw a long line. And you will see why I'm drawing a long line. So I'm going to divide by 10. Because we have 10 numbers. And now we just add up all the numbers in our data set. So we do 6 plus 5 plus 8 plus 10 plus 1 plus 0 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3 plus 9. And divide that by 10. So let's do this real quick. Okay, 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 8 is 19, plus 10 is 29, plus 1 is 30, plus 7 is 37, plus 5 is 42, plus 3 is 45, and plus 9 is 54. So we get 54 divided by 10, which is equal to 5.4. So that is the mean, or as you would think, or as you know so far, is the average in the class. So on average, the class didn't really do that well. And you could tell that just by looking at the grades. You can see some people did really well, and like approximately the same amount of people didn't do that well. So like 10 and 9, if it's very well, did it very well. And then 0 and 1 is not that well. So you'd assume that the average is around like a 5 or a 6. And our average is actually 5.4, or the mean is 5.4. And the median was 5.5. And you can see that the mean and the median, so like 5.4 and 5.5, this means approximately, okay? So it's not equal to, this is approximately, it's equal to 5.5. So the mean and median are almost the same. That means that whatever average you take, it doesn't really matter. And that's going to lead me on to my next point. So I hope mean makes sense. You just add up all the numbers and divide by the total amount of numbers you have. Now I want you to think of this. Let's say I give you 2. This is not any grades or anything. This is just, I'm going to make numbers up, okay? So I'm giving you 2, 3, actually no. I want to give you 2, and I'm going to give you 18, 9. I want to do it in ascending order because this is easy to work with for the median and mean that we're going to calculate. So I'm going to give you 2, 18, 19, 20. Then I'm going to give you 21, 22, 23. Then I'm going to give you 88. So these are the numbers I gave you. I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I gave you 8 numbers. Now, just by looking at these numbers, right, what are you going to tell me? Well, we know 2 and 8, and 2 and 88, in fact, not even 8, it's 88. You're going to call them outliers, right? And especially 88, because most of the data is centered around 20, right? So you'd expect like 20 or 21 is like where most of the data is. But you can see we have an 88 and we have 2 in the data set for some reason. And those are called outliers because, well, they're outlying, right? Like those don't really belong to the data set, but they're just there because, you know, something might have gone wrong. Let's say you're doing an experiment and you got these numbers. Something might have gone wrong and you could have got an 88 and 2. So now we're going to do this. Forget the mean, forget the mode and the range. We don't really care about the mode and range. I guess range is 88 minus 2 is 86. And mode doesn't really exist. So forget about those. Now let's look at the median. So, okay, so if you want to find the average of this, right, I'm just going to ask you average. I'm not going to say mean or median. I'm going to say average. So average you're going to tell me is 20. Okay, that's what I would say if I looked at this data set. I'd say, well, you have a small number, you have a very big number. I'm not going to count those. If I look at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, I'm looking at around 20 to 21. This is what I want to call my average. So this is my guess. And you would say that's a reasonable guess, right? Because that's where most of the numbers are. But now let's do two things. Let's look at the median and the mean. So the median, well, the ascending order, right? We already have the ascending order, so we do cancel that, cancel that, cancel that, cancel that, cancel that, cancel that. And you have 20 and 21. So we have two numbers, so you do 20 plus 21 and divide by 2. And you end up getting 20.5. So a median is a good guess of an average because we got 20.5 and I'd assumed it's between 20 and 21. So median is good. We can accept the median. Now I want you to look at the mean of this data set. So what is the mean telling us? Well, we're going to do 2 plus 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23 plus 88. And we had 8 numbers, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 numbers. So we're going to do what we usually do for the mean. We just add up all the numbers and we're going to divide by 8 because that's how many we have. Now I'm going to bring my calculator out just because I don't want to get this wrong. So we have 18 plus 2 is 20, plus 19 is 39, plus 20 is 59, plus 21, I'm just doing it in my head right now, is 80, plus 22 is 102, plus 88 is 190, plus 23 is 213. I'm going to put in my calculator just to make sure. So 2 plus 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23 plus 88. So 213. And then we divide that by 8. Okay, and what do we get? We have 213 divided by 8 and we get 26.625. Okay, I guess 26 isn't that bad, but 20.5 is way better, isn't it? If you look at the data set, I definitely say 20 or 21 is my guess for average, and median gives you exactly in the middle of 20 and 21. It gives you 20.5, while the mean is going to give you 26.6, and you're not really going to say this is centered around 26.6. You're going to say it's around 2021, right? And let's say, let me give you a very small, this is the last data set. Let me give you a small data set like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 99. Let's say these are the numbers you got for some reason. Let's look at the median first. First of all, let's look at our guess. We're going to guess of that to be, I want the average to be, let's say 6. Okay, that's our guess. Let's look at the median. Well, we're going to cancel out 3, we're going to cancel out 19. I'm going to cancel out 4, we're going to cancel out 8. We're going to cancel out 5, we're going to cancel out 7. We're going to get 6 left. Median is going to give us 6, which is perfect. That was my guess, and the median also says 6 is a good average. But now if I look at the mean for this, well, you can really see what's going to happen, right? We're going to have 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. So far, so good. Now plus 99, that's not very good. And then divided by, how many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. We have 7 numbers. Let's put that in my calculator real quick. So we have all those numbers added up, plus 6, plus 5, plus 4, plus 3. And we end up getting 18 point, let's just say 18.9. That is our mean. So our mean is going to give us 18.9. Now I want you to think, does this make any sense at all? Why am I getting 18.9? Most of the data, literally almost all of the data, is between these numbers right here. Literally, it's around 6. And then because of that 99 that we have, for some reason, my mean is getting 18.9. So like, that is not really making sense, right? So this is not, in this case, it's not a good guess. Not a good, not even a guess, this is what it does. Not a good average. Remember, median is also a type of average. Mean is also a type of average. Mean is the common one that we're used to. But my point was trying to show you that a mean can also be a bad average. I don't want this number. I don't want 18.9 because I can literally see that, look, I have all these numbers centered around 6, which is a small number. Why am I getting 18.9? Well, if you look at the data set carefully, there's that big number right there. And that big number does play a part because it did get put in a data set. But if I'm trying to explain my data to someone, I can just say, okay, this is an outlier. And that's why I'm not going to look at the mean, I'm going to look at the median, and I'm going to get 6. And that makes sense, right? You're going to say that the data is centered around 6. So you can see that the mean and median are both averages, but in some cases, the mean that we're very used to doing well first might not be a good guess for an average, such as in this case right here, or in this case right here. But in some cases, it might be perfect. Like when we have an equal distribution, and like this is leading on to higher like statistics like the normal distribution, where the mean and median are the same. You can look at that if you want. I'll make a video on it. If you want, comment that. So if you look at these numbers right here, you can see these are like fairly well distributed, right? You have like 2 people that did very well, 2 people that didn't do so well, and you have some people, you know, just in the middle doing all right. And then you saw that the median was 5.5 and the mean was 5.4, and those are both good averages. That makes sense from the data that we're seeing. But sometimes if you have data that's like this and you have outliers, then the mean might not be a very good average, or sometimes even the median might not be a good average. Who knows, right? So yeah, hopefully that gives you an introduction to mean, median, and range. And if you like the video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see in future videos.